without jackfruit. Trying to
We
adjust
are
that.
live, Miss Regina.
Hey, hey, thank you guys for coming on in to my kitchen to hang out with me. Hey, Coach Heidi.
Hey, girl. Glad to be here. I'm waiting
What
to
are you
see
up
those
to?
bananas.
What are you up to?
We are traveling north,
Oh, okay.
heading to the
Okay.
beach, following the sun.
Yes, I'm next for vacation, Mai. So, just so you know, if y'all don't know, Facebook and Instagram, I'm filling in for Mai, who is a part of Courtney Wellness Companion. That's who usually does their cookies, but she's on vacation. But she's handling all the technical things for me while she's on vacation. It's her birthday today, so I'm filling in for her. But she will be back next week.
Can't wait to see this.
So, yeah. So today we're going to make some vegan pulled pork without jackfruit. So I'm going to go over the ingredients with you guys, and then we're going to make it. So we have 4 tablespoons of oil. I know it seems like not a lot, but we're not going to use all 4 tablespoons at the same time. We have 3/4 of a cup of barbecue sauce. You can use store-bought. Also, I think it's Sweet Baby Ray's. They just came out with a barbecue sauce that is sugar-free. So go check them out. We have our Annie's Worcestershire sauce. It is organic. It is plant-based. I found that on Amazon. We have some liquid smoke. If anybody wants to see what the bottle looks like, you can find it at Walmart. You can find it at Food Lion, pretty much everywhere. We have ginger. We have cayenne. We have chili powder. Paprika. Shout out to Body Brand, my favorite, all-time favorite brand. We have onion powder. Now we have paprika. You can use regular paprika or you can use smoked paprika. I like smoked paprika just because it gives it a deeper flavor. We have black pepper, and we have my other all-time favorite brand, Mrs. Dash Original. And you can also use cayenne if you like a little heat, or you can use crushed red pepper, whichever one you like. But all the ingredients are there on the screen. And for everybody else, we went over all the seasonings and spices. You're going to need 2 bananas, and they don't have to be really, really ripe or really, really yellow. Because I find that when I use them and they are too yellow and too ripe, they don't really get that color like you want them to get. We're going to use 2 cloves of garlic and an onion. And I know you're thinking, Regina, why are we using cloves of garlic and we got garlic powder? Because I love garlic, and that's how it is. But if you don't like garlic, you don't care for garlic, you're more than welcome to leave it out. And I have 2 apples because they're small. But normally I would just use 1 Fuji or Pink Lady apple because it's naturally sweeter. But the thing about this recipe, especially if you're on a budget, I try to get you guys to use what you have at home already versus going out. So why would I go to Food Line and get 2 Pink Lady apples when I have 2 perfectly good green apples right here that need to be used? If you look at them, you can tell they need to be used. So the first thing we are going to do, I'm going to move this out the way. I'm going to get a bowl for my banana peel, and I'm going to pull out a Ziploc bag so that I can put my banana in it and pop it in the freezer, use it for a smoothie tomorrow. Move this bowl back. So I'm just cutting the peel off. I cut off the ends, and we're going to take it right out. I'm just going to break that in half so it fits in my sandwich bag easier. There's 1. And here is number 2. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Anything you want to drop in the comments. There So now we have our bananas out. And the reason why we want to do the banana first is so that it can sit in the seasoning. So we're actually going to do that before we even get to the onion. So I want you to lay the banana peel flat and take a spoon, and you see that the white, the rest of that white, we're going to scoop out the rest of that white meat because we don't want any banana flavor to take over in our pulled pork. Now just think about how easy this is, how convenient it is, because even when they're kind of expensive, bananas are only around, at the most I've seen them 57 cents a pound. And the cheapest I've seen them is 19 cents a pound. So when you are done, let me show you what it looks like before I move on to the second one. When you're done, the inside should look like this. There isn't any of that white meat left at all. I'm going to go ahead and move on and do the second one really quick. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to give it that stringy texture. Now, this recipe is also in my cookbook, So Deliciously Vegan. That's available on my website, the hard copy and the ebook. I know Courtney got his ebook already. So did mine. She caught it during my birthday sale. I know Coach Heidi said she's going to pick it up. I mean, they're not even plant-based. You know, they're all about overall health and wellness. So just a healthier way of eating and just a different way to enjoy that pork that you might miss. So I'm going to lay it flat. I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to scrape it along the cutting board. And what you want it to get stringy, or like a stringy texture. So I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to show you guys what I mean. So see how it's just coming like apart in strings? You guys see that? So that's really all you're going to do. And the thing about barbecue, even when I was eating meat, you know, it's all about the flavor. So if you can get that barbecue flavor and that texture right, you won't even miss the fact that it's not meat. I promise you, you won't. I mean, once you get the onion powder and garlic powder and cayenne and chili pepper, all the things that you would season, you know, your barbecue with, that you're going to throw on the grill. So I'm just going to finish shredding these. We don't want them really big. You don't want big chunks, because if it was pulled pork, it wouldn't be, well, depending on who was cooking it for you, it wouldn't be in big chunks. It'd be like a stringy texture. So we have this last piece. That's a little beat up, so it won't take as long. So we're just going to scrape it with a fork so you guys can see the consistency you want. And I'm going to hold up the bowl in just a second. Now, the recipe on the CWC page, it does have the measurements, and there it is again up there. Because when I'm in the when I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking, I don't measure nothing. I kind of just go how I feel. So we're going to take our same spoon and we are going to season it with 2 teaspoons of Mrs. Dash, a teaspoon of pepper. And just so you guys can see the texture of it, before I finish seasoning that, how it's stringy, we are going to do a teaspoon of ginger. I don't measure anything, but I will for you guys today.
So, how many servings is this? Can you feed people?
With 2 medium-sized bananas, 2 people, especially if you add in sides. But if it's like 3 to 4 larger sized bananas, basically it's like 1 banana per person, because you're also adding in apples, and you're also adding in caramelized onions. So you can stretch it pretty far. So that was a teaspoon of ginger. Then we're going to go in with 2 teaspoons of chili powder. And then I'm going to go in with a tablespoon of, let's do half a tablespoon of smoked paprika. And then I'll do half a teaspoon of regular paprika. I know my kids make the comments all the time like, why do you have such big seasoning containers? This is not a restaurant. Let me tell you, I just use it like that. Because I think it's important to give food flavor. You really want food to have great flavor. And then I'm going to do a tablespoon of onion powder. I was a little handy with that one, so I had to put a little bit back. Now, because I like some heat, I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. Now, I did have it up there that you can add Cajun seasoning if you like, but you have to be mindful of the salt. I use this brand, Bone Sucking Cajun Rub, but it's really not necessary. You can if you want to. So we're going to mix that up. And I know it looks like a lot of seasoning, but you have to be mindful that it's going to cook with everything else. So we have that seasoned so you guys can see how that looks. And we are going to set this off to the side. We are going to bring, I have a non-stick skillet just so I don't have to use so much oil. And then I'm going to cut this on 4. I'm going to get these banana scraps out the way. And I'm going to start out with just 1.5 tablespoons of oil. Because you can always add more oil to it if you need to, but you can't necessarily take it away after you dump the whole thing in there.
Hey, Regina.
Hey.
It already looks so much like the pulled pork, the yellow color and all the spices. Amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. You want it to look like it's pulled pork.
So I have a question about how did you discover to use banana peel as to make this recipe? It's amazing. I would have never thought about that.
Well, I was actually just researching different fruits that I could use besides jackfruit because I didn't want to sit here and tackle a big old jackfruit in the kitchen. You know, and I was trying to think of something that could save time. And I was like, okay, so what are some things that are soft that'll hold its shape, you know, besides mushrooms or like maybe skins off the potatoes. Tried that. I tried a tempeh short rib recipe. I didn't like the way it tasted in my mouth. It was really just trial and error, just basically.
So how many trials did it take?
Can we say like months?
Okay, so
Like
this
months.
is a so deliciously delicious original, right?
Yes.
There's never been anybody using the banana peel like you have.
Not that I know of, no.
All right, this is
So
so exciting. So you guys, this is an exclusive. Chef Regina is showing us this never before seen. If you don't get her cookbook, this is so exciting.
Yeah, so our oil is nice and heated. And so I cut the onions just like I cut it in half and then just sliced it really thin because I wanted to keep that half moon shape so that it kind of mimics the same shape as the pulled pork, once it cooks down. So we're just going to put all those goodies in the pan. And my onion was really small. Now, the thing about this recipe, if you are watching your A1C, if you are concerned just, about the sugar, because onions do have natural sugar, this recipe also works with green onion. Because I tried it with green onion instead of the banana, but the green onion didn't hold up well enough. But you can certainly substitute green onion for white onion or yellow onion in this recipe because it does have less sugar. So right now we got the onions going. I am just going to chop the garlic. I'm not going to add it right away. If you don't know how to open a clove of garlic, you take the garlic, lay it on the cutting board, put the back of your knife on it, and take the butt of your hand and just smack it, and it just comes right out the peel. And this is just a rough chop, nothing perfect, nothing fancy, because it's all going in the pan and it's all going to the same place together. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I appreciate you watching me. I think that it's important for us to learn healthier ways of eating. So we're just letting the onions saute. We're just letting them get nice and soft. And then I'm just going to rough chop the garlic. Just give it a rough chop. Now, normally I would make this in the cast iron skillet, but I just decided to use my nonstick skillet so that I could use less oil. Like literally less oil than you normally would in a recipe like this. We're just going to chop it up. And I love garlic. I could eat garlic every day at every meal. Honey, I put garlic powder in my vegan mac and cheese. That's just how much I love garlic.
That's the secret ingredient. Garlic everything.
Yeah.
So I have
Garlic has its medicinal purposes also. A lot of times, old school, they'd use it in place of like an antibiotic. So very, very medicinal.
Yes. If you take hot water and put garlic cloves in it, let the water cool a little bit. Like you said, it's like an antiseptic. If you have a toothache or an abscess, it actually calms down that inflammation.
It's also good for warding off vampires too.
Or if you do too much, you're honey.
Right. I think my husband has gotten used to the smell by now. So the garlic, I just roughly chopped that, just really simple. It doesn't have to be uniform or anything. We're just going to add it to the onions. And we're just going to let this go for a couple more minutes. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you for having me while Maya's on vacation and enjoying her family and enjoying her birthday. So
Chef Boykin, you are doing half of the cooking. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Like I said,
we are thankful that you are here showing us some different recipes, especially the vegan folks. Just a lot of people are trying to eat less meat, and your recipes are so innovative and creative. I would have never thought about this. So we're just bringing different ways of eating healthy, and like you said, it's all in the spice and in the seasoning. And instead of thinking of what you're missing or what you're giving up, you're thinking about what other things you're adding to it, flavor. So I love your style.
think of it as gaining, not necessarily what you're losing, but what are you gaining? You're gaining overall health and wellness. Like Heidi says, you want to see the numbers, you want to see good blood work. And like you say, Mai, all the time, You know, try to eat as fresh as you possibly can. You know, I know everybody doesn't have the same budget, but go to farmers markets and go to supermarkets, and just there's nothing wrong with looking on the markdown rack. I went in one day. I went to Harris Teeter to get some shishito peppers, and then they had all these mushrooms marked down. So I had came home and made a ramen bowl. Just using the mushrooms and making the mushroom stock. So it's ways to do it. So the onions are nice and soft. They're getting a little brown. I don't want them too dark because they still have to cook. So at this point, I'm going to add my pulled pork and get that going while I shred up my apples. If you don't have a cheese grater, it's fine. Just, dice it, chop it really small. So we're going to put our bananas in there. And now we are going to grate our apple. I'm going to leave the skin on. Why? Because there is fiber in the skin, and we all know what fiber is good for. Well, one of the things it's good for anyway, it gets everything moving. And your digestive health is really important. That's your core, the core of your body. So I'm just going to grate this apple. And so far, that's looking really good. So,
I love that you said fiber, because guess what? We're doing in July.
What are we doing?
So this month was drink your water. Next
Okay.
month is eat your veggie. So we're challenging everybody to eat some kind of vegetable or fruit and share it within the group. So we're trying to get you to eat more fiber, more greens, more things that come from the earth, from the ground.
Yes, that is awesome. I think that's really awesome.
That's
Especially if
awesome.
you're sharing it. What'd you say, Heidi?
I said that's an awesome challenge.
Yes, if you are watching this on a replay, please share what vegetable you want to add to your diet or want to eat more of, or what's your favorite vegetable. So so I bought a bunch of new seeds at the grocery store today, and I'm so excited. A bunch of beans, some microgreens. I got some sunflowers, a bunch of this is golden wax beans, snap peas, turnips. I'm so excited to grow these.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got this purple bean. Have you ever seen purple beans?
Let me see. Yeah, I've never seen that. I'm actually going to the farmer's market Saturday just to see what I can find. Because what I get from there. I got some tomato plants. They were doing so well that it was so many tomatoes just all on one side that it snapped in half. So definitely going to pick up some more veggies. So we're just going to keep cooking that. See, we didn't even need any more oil. If you see that, we didn't need any more oil added to that. It's doing just fine. Now at this point, I'm going to go grab some water really quick.
So Regina, Iris Carr says she wants to purchase your cookbook.
You said who?
Iris wants to purchase your book.
Well, thank you. Great. You can go to my website, honestlyvegan.info, and you can download the ebook or you can get the hardcover. So, you guys, when it's at this state, we are going to add just a little bit of water. We want the bananas to finish getting soft, and we want the shredded apple to get soft. When I tell you I tried this,
How much water did you put in?
I did roughly a quarter of a cup. I never dump it all in at once. I always do a little bit at a time. So that was about a quarter of a cup. So now it's basically that water's gone. I'm going to do another quarter of a cup. And I'm going to add in my Worcestershire. And I'm going to add in my liquid smoke. And then we're just going to let this cook for a couple of minutes. Just until the apples finish getting soft. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes. This recipe doesn't take a long time. So that's what I try to do when I'm in the kitchen because, you know, everybody lives their life. They work, they have kids, they have spouses, they have all these things going on. So, I mean, who wants to be in the kitchen for like an hour or two when they're getting off of work? So I don't know if you guys can see that, how that's looking. You really can't. The banana doesn't even have any yellow anymore. It actually took on the color of the seasonings. The only thing you can really see is the shredded apple because I like to leave the skin on because of the fiber, but you're more than welcome to take the skin off. All right. Let's move this out the way. So I'm just going to let that go. Now at this point, once all the water has evaporated, this is the point where you see if you need to add the last quarter cup of water. If you do, if you feel like your apple isn't soft enough, or maybe you didn't have a grater and you had to chop it or dice it in a small dice, then you could add that last quarter cup of water. I'm gonna go less than a quarter of a cup.
Regina, Joyce says, this is amazing. My nephew is 10 years old, have to lose some weight, and his doctor told him to eat more veggies and fruits. I can help him while helping me. Yay.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, Joyce. I'm so glad you're watching because Joyce actually purchased my cookbook. So the thing about my book, is before I even wrote the book, I did all these recipes. After I tested them, I went on Instagram and cooked them all live so that everybody could see, you know, how easy they were. So it's about 20 recipes, but in the end, I actually ended up putting in 25 in there. All right, so all the liquid is gone. There's barely any liquid left. So this is how you want the end product to look. So I'm actually going to turn the heat down because it's the consistency that we want. It's the texture that we want. And like I said, I only have those little light pieces because I left the skin on. So now we're going to add our 3/4 of a cup of barbecue sauce. Sometimes I'll add more, especially if I want it saucy, like really saucy. We're just going to add our barbecue sauce to that.
So I posted the recipe up again on the screen.
Okay.
Can you just go over like the steps again in case people just tune in right now?
Sure. While we're letting this do its thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the banana, cut off the ends, take it out the peel, reserve your banana to use for shake, banana pudding, smoothies, something like that. You're going to take a spoon and you're going to scrape out the inside of the banana, which is actually the rest of the white meat because we don't want any banana flavor at all in this. And then after that, you're going to take a fork and you're just going to shred the banana just like you would do with a pulled pork or a pulled chicken. You're just going to shred it. And then after you shred it, you put the pieces that you shredded in a bowl and then you season it with our Mrs. Dash, our pepper, our paprika, our garlic powder, onion powder, ginger, cayenne, chili pepper, and Mrs. Dash original. And then you're just going to coat it and toss it and let that sit. You are going to put we use 1.5 tablespoons of oil in a nonstick skillet. We got our onions going, and then we chopped up our garlic, added our garlic. Then we added our pulled pork and let that work. And while that was working, we shredded our apple. And remember, I used 2 because they were really small. And then we add our apple in there. And once you add your apple, that's when you start working in the water a little bit at a time, just letting it cook down. Let the liquid evaporate and then add more liquid. And then you add your Worcestershire, you add your liquid smoke, and then you let it go for a few minutes, and then you add your barbecue sauce. And then you just let it go until just like 3 or 4 minutes, just so you can see that all the liquid is evaporated, and you are left with this from banana peel. Isn't that crazy?
That looks so good. And Courtney says something is cooking and looks good.
That does look delicious. Oh my goodness.
So it's done. So we're gonna turn off the heat. Now,
Looks
normally when I
amazing.
make this recipe, I'll turn the heat on low. I'll let it go, and then I will also make my apple coleslaw. Because what do I always say? If you're already using an ingredient, make something else where you can already use the ingredients you have. So if you're already using apples and buying apples for the pulled pork, pick up an extra apple for the coleslaw. Nothing hard, nothing fancy. Some coleslaw in a bag. Grate your apple. Make a really simple vinegar based. We try to stay away from mayonnaise. Even vegan mayonnaise, I don't try to use it as much. But a vinegar based coleslaw, and just top it with that, and it is so good. Well, let me tell you. And I'm a girl who likes to eat. Ask my husband. I like to eat. And there's nothing wrong with eating. Just make healthy choices. So I'm going to put this on the bun. You could toast your bun if you want. And like I said, you could top it with some coleslaw. So we're gonna put a little more on there. And I'm putting it on slider buns because that's what I tend to keep in the house because of my grandson. I tend to keep slider buns. But you can put it on the Mr. Tortilla brand street tacos, 1 gram net carbs and 1 street taco. You can also use Extreme Wellness brand, fajita sized. There's 4 grams of net carbs. Burrito size, there's 7 grams of net carbs. Snack size, there's only 3 grams of net carbs. So here you guys go. Vegan pulled pork, banana peel, onions, and apples.
That is phenomenal.
Let's have a bite. Give us a bite.
You good. Say you good. I got some Benadryl in my pocketbook. You good.
Oh my gosh. Oh. We need to make this ASAP.
Yes, that looks amazing, Regina.
Hot.
Wow.
Hot. Very hot. Very hot. But it's so good and so flavorful. Bananas are cheap. 1 apple is cheap. Onions are cheap. And most of these seasonings you might already have in your cabinet. So there you go. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wow. That looks amazing.
Get into it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a gluten sensitivity, but that is worth every Benadryl I'm going to have to take after I finish. That is worth it. That is
Pulled
so
pork is
worth
one of
it.
my favorite meals.
Huh?
I love it. Said pulled pork is one of my favorite meals. I love it.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. It's so good. And I added the cayenne because I like it spicy. If you don't like it spicy, just leave the cayenne out. Leave the Cajun seasoning out. And it's really good. It's really, really good. And when you're doing your barbecue sauce, just be mindful of the ingredients and just be mindful of the sugar that's already in the barbecue sauce. Yeah, but Sweet Baby Ray's make a sugar-free barbecue sauce. Yeah. So there you go. It was so good.
That looks amazing. So we have a question about the banana peel. Like, can you freeze the banana peel, use it for later, and you like?
I have not tried to freeze it. Okay, so what I did do is I'll make me vegan dark chocolate banana. That's in my cookbook. I'll make that in the morning, And then I'll just put the skins in a Ziploc bag. And then I'll make sure that I use the skins at lunch or dinner. You know, you really don't want them to like carry over for too many days because, you know, they'll get dark, you know, darker than what you would normally want them to be. Yeah, so if you have a smoothie or you eating a banana, tell Courtney, eat that banana and put it in a sandwich bag and go make some pulled pork later on for supper.
So Heidi says, thank you so much, Regina. I have to get off now, but awesome. She's going to make this soon.
Okay.
She's going on her camping trip right now. So I think we're all going to make this. So if you're watching this and you're making it, please let Regina know and share a picture of it in the group, because, you know, we love seeing your creations.
Exactly. I would love to see some pictures and the things you decided to do that with it, and make these recipes. All these recipes are designed for you to make them your own. Leave something out, add something in, do something different. The whole point is just to get you energized and excited about eating healthy, because eating healthy doesn't have to be boring, and being in the kitchen doesn't have to be, you know, like a task or a chore. I mean, I enjoy it, you know, and it's fun coming up with new, different things for you guys to try and to eat. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Great. So next week I'll be back, and
Yay!
I just thought about this. We're going to be making spring rolls
Okay.
with a peanut sauce. So I think that's going to be good. I know that Tioko made the spring rolls with the peanut sauce and she really liked it. So
Okay.
I think that would be good. You can use lettuce if you don't do the rice paper. So there's a couple options. Keep low carb.
Mom.
Okay. All right. So that's
All right.
30 minutes or less.
Yes.
You made this meal and it looks amazing. Barbecue pulled pork with no pork.
The picture only had one. And your family.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.